One everyone! Welcome back to the channel. I'm 11. I'm a puppy girl who escaped from the lab just to see you. And today we're watching more What If the Emperor Had a Text-to-Speech Device. Today we're watching episode 16 and 17. Since the episodes have gotten quite long, we now only watch 2 per I was gonna say episode, but I meant per video. I hope you guys like them. I'm super excited. And I hope you guys like the video. If you do, write 1-1 in the comments. 1-1. 1-1. Okay, I'm super excited. I hope the volume's okay. Oh, and thank you as always for all the explanations in the comments. Wow, they really up the animation budget, I feel.
I sure hope the army Sikapaya is here.
Do not keep your hopes up, Magosgras. Remember what happened the last time we tried finding it on a penal world.
Oh yes, I remember. They launched you out of a cannon.
Hair. You could say that you
Wait, did that
pierced
actually happen
the
in canon?
heavens.
I am
Like
not
a
sure
drill.
who the hell you think
That's a Gurren Lagann reference. I get that reference.
I am. But if you persist in making stupid jokes, you better believe in me, Zablis, that you lying dead on the ground. They will turn straight for your fucking cranium.
that's
It's
funny.
better than you standing here, wasting oxygen. Besides, you have to find this STC.
Hold
Or
on,
turn it
I'm actually gonna resize myself so my big head isn't in the way. Like this, tiny in the corner.
away. The Omni Sikapaya.
Well, actually, I cannot see any STC around here, but that giant pillar certainly looks peculiar.
Oh wait, it's the big pillars they build the tower in the. Wait, was it the tower? No, it was. Wait, I'm thinking of the pillars that I forgot their name. Oh my god, I feel so bad.
One eternity later.
The Necrons. I'm thinking of the Necron pillars. Oh my god, that was painful. I guess that big head was meant for something. The Necron pillars.
This is ancient technology.
Look, there are more of them over there.
Is that a giant loudspeaker? Is the boombox?
I am part of season legends. Upon the eve of great celebration, mankind would tread these planets, jumping around like idiots as the repeated patterns of sound blasting out of these
It
pillars.
is.
They also injected copious amounts of drugs.
Sounds like what the
Yeah, you guys told me all about Warhammer 40k drugs.
fabricator general does all the time.
We must send for more depths. We have a lot of work in front of us.
The intro is so fun. We are the soldiers. We lead Legend of Light. Fire and flame. We are one.
Well, I've sent away the message telling the Octaries about their second mission now. Hopefully you'll be with them in spirit on their new conquest.
I'd rather not. Their obnoxious chatting just worsens my
It's
hernia
something
headache.
such a running gag.
Well, maybe not discussion about something will ease your splintered mind, my lord. I'm open to talk about anything.
I would be too, but let's not forget what happened last time you said that. Try and keep to subjects that won't make me want to destroy the entire galaxy with my transcendent bowel movements.
Sure.
Oh, please don't
So,
do that.
Any ideas?
How about you tell me about those xeno creatures that you mentioned back when we read those revolting questions? Tola, or whatever their name was.
The cow.
Can I not say that I did?
Are you defying me?
No. Maybe it's just You said not to talk about things that would cause explosive warp farts and...
I would like to remind you, young man, that I'm the motherfucking Emperor, and that defying my subject matter of the day will have you be selected as the target for the Seek and Destroy mission during the next Blood Games. Your custodian brothers will have a pleasing high time chasing you around.
Oh, Emperor.
And I'm
I
going
think
to
you just
presume
gave him a bit of a stressed tummy ache.
destroy part of something they particularly enjoy.
Please, no. Not again.
There's
Not
something they will
again,
be
how
destroying
does this
with
happen
those
to him?
floppy Guardian spears. Am I right?
I thought you were supposed to be charismatic while persuading people to obey
I
you.
am.
You know, in D&D, your charisma stat also influences things like your intimidation, so it makes perfect sense.
Because I know you secretly like this.
Okay, we are stopping right here. The Guardsman just dropped dead. Time to make a 180 and drastically change the subject.
Well, stop whining, and tell me about these Tarzinos then.
Fair enough, my lord. The Tau are a race of naive, blue-grey, fish-like people with a vagina
But
on
they're
their forehead
fish
and
people?
giant, stupid, toy-looking war gear
But
with
I
no
don't know
skull
that.
ornaments on at all, and weaponry that makes pathetic pew-pew sounds when fired.
Right. Care to elaborate?
Must I? Well, during the 35th millennium, some fucking explorators from the Adeptus Mechanicus were flying around the empty void of the eastern fringes of the galaxy for no reason. Then they found some world filled with primitive fucking Xenos that only used rocks as weapons, which, for the record, is still a lot more aesthetically pleasing than what they've got going on today. These no-nose fish flappers split themselves into 4 different factions or whatever that represented the only resources they had in that little rock of theirs, which were water, earth, fire, and air. These constantly fought like skinny, mist-colored orcs with mental issues
This is a big low drop. I feel like I have to lock in.
for no reason. Then at some point, another faction came along out of nowhere which called themselves the Ethereals. They said to the Tau, "Hey, you should stop throwing rocks at each other, you fucking idiots." And the
Good
other Tau
point,
said,
good point.
"Oh yeah, I didn't really think of that." So then they became the Ethereal slaves for no reason, started to build all kinds of stupid shit, and then decided to go and try some space conquering, which they've barely done any of, since they're still sitting way up east rolling their fucking thumb. No, wait, no, they don't even
It's
have
got strong
thumbs.
feeling.
So
Wait, they don't have thumbs? How do they do stuff? I feel like having thumbs is so important. But yeah, he's kinda mad at the Tau, which is kinda weird. I felt like most factions were at least neutral towards them.
Sum it up. They're a small Xenos race with scary toy guns that kidnap gullible guardsmen and cut their balls off for no reason. They are completely redundant in any threat record, and I am sick to death of them being brought up all the time, because there's never any fucking reason to!
Damn, calm down, son. I was only asking. Shit, you are starting to sound like your father.
I'm sorry, my lord.
So humans tend to leave the Imperium to go and join the Xenos Empire, correct?
Yes, but it's not only humans. The Tau have gotten a shitload of
Yeah, the Tau kinda seem to be adopting whoever's on, like, fighting for the same causes as them.
other
They seem
minuscule
pretty
but important
open-minded, I
Xenon
would
races to
say.
join them as well. Just like a gang of creepy old hobos in a hive city, they lure in others with promises of deeds performed for the greater good, never really specifying what the greater good is, nor why they keep moaning about it as they force you to go deep inside their own pocket domain, where you can never hope to escape once inside.
I am genuinely sickened when you put it into these contexts. I hope all this repressed anger isn't from some pseudo-weird first-hand
I
experience.
bet it is.
I'd rather not say. Now, my Emperor, could you please order me to send an immediate death warrant onto these foul creatures that we can mobilize all forces we've got and destroy them before they populate more planets with their cringeworthy ways?
Well, if you...
Cringeworthy. You just find some a little cringe. I don't think that's worth a death warrant, my dude.
put it like that.
It's right there, Father. Do not let
Okay,
him
Magnus.
brainwash you so easily. Or, do you still have a brain, actually?
Not sure.
Good
I'll
question.
have to ask someone to check later and
I
see
can't
if
see one
it's
through
still
his
there.
eyes.
I hope it is.
thing.
Where else am I going to store all my glorious fourth wall-breaking punts?
Brainwashing? Really? You're complaining about brainwashing?
For looking like a yellow submarine, there seems to be a distinct lack of intelligent life living inside your head.
That's fucking hilarious.
Of course a Chaos Worshipper is gonna side with the fucking Xenos.
You know what's absolutely getting me? It's the height difference between those two. Either he's really small Or Magnus is just huge?
I'm taking the side of reason in this debate, and my reason is telling me that you are very biased in this discussion.
No, I'm not. I'm just telling the truth.
The truth about how the Tower are a race of creepy old vagina-faced hobos that exist for no reason?
Exactly!
Father, do not listen to him. While I do not appreciate the existence of these Xenos myself, what with their distinctive disconnection to the warp and the disrespect they have for arcane knowledge, I can tell you that these
Magnus sounding a little bit like a nerd right now.
creatures could do more good for you than bad, if handled correctly.
Is that so? Then tell me, how would they benefit my goals?
Maybe we can get the Mechanicus to turn them to servitors and then have them develop disk drive technology on their foreheads, and that way they can actually be of some fucking use to the galaxy.
The Tau have surpassed us in our current state, and many technological fields in but the span of 6,000 years.
That's
They are an
really short in
open-minded
the
and
grand
fairly
scheme of
naive
things.
race, always open to the suggestion of more allies joining their empire. While their leaders are oppressive and tyrannical, they are but small, cuddly teddy bears in comparison to the bureaucratic puppeteers of the Imperium or the iron-handed maniacs of chaos.
I feel like I don't know how a lot about the leaders of the Tau. I don't think I know any particular characters or stories from
At
them.
least those guys don't cut people's balls off or rip out people's ovaries. Seriously.
You must be as naive as the Tau if you don't believe that mankind is just as capable of such atrocities.
That's what I
Your
always
Imperium has
say.
forced gelding onto more than a few innocent people, I bet, what with all those inquisitorial sterilization camps. As for chaos, well, Slanesh has a weird sense of humor.
Alright, fine, you got me on that one.
I think that with the use of your powerful charisma, you could manipulate these Xenos into working for you, which would more than likely aid in the recovery, or at the very least further the lifespan of this rotting Imperium of yours.
Didn't you mention that they had no presence in the warp? How am I supposed to use my charisma when I can't bolster it with my psychic strength?
No, they do have a presence in the warp, but it is very small. I think an overwhelming presence such as mine or yours would still be able to affect them.
My lord, I beg of you, do not listen to this possessed traitor. The Tau fight only for their ideology, enslaved by the ethereal.
Is this episode just gonna be everyone arguing over the Tau? Are we gonna see them at all? Like, are they just like the kind of people everyone bitches about but they're not even involved?
To control them through pheromones like they're some kind of horny rodents. They only fight for their greater good.
Well, what if I use my powers to become their greater good?
But, my lord...
No, but
My
I'd prefer at
lord.
least one of you custodians to keep your armor on.
What?
Never mind, just shut up and do what I say.
Seriously, my lord, they're Xenos.
As long as they are under regulation, and they do not interfere with mankind, it is all right.
They have winch-worthy weaponry with no skulls or holy symbols on them.
I like that the Emperor is sticking to his morals. You know, he knows what he likes.
As long as they serve the Imperium and only fire upon those who wish to destroy us, it is all right.
But they have a socio-economic philosophy that promotes a completely classless living where every individual
But
works
they're
for the
kinda
betterment of
helping
all.
your cause right
Well-being
now.
is an oppressive dictatorship based around the ethereal's well-being.
As long as everyone is treated well and fairly in the conjoined Imperium, where there will be no need for retarded and corrupt political systems, and the Ethereals will be under my direct control, it's all right.
But they have turned a whole lot of loyal guardsmen into sterile, base-dwelling Towlers that only ever draw nude pictures that they use as Tau propaganda.
As long as I'm not shown any of that eye-watering Xenoloby futanary /tier or garbage.
That sentence could kill a Victorian child. This sentence makes absolutely no sense to anyone like, 30 years ago. What the hell?
It's all right.
Maybe garbage.
But they can't even fight in melee!
No!
I'm sorry, but what did you just say?
This is where we draw the line.
Are a cowardly race that only fire upon their enemies from far, never engaging in any form of melee combat.
Is this true, Magnus?
Well, yes.
That is absolutely disgraceful.
This is where he draws the line. Not The loot
Well, I
pictures.
said it now, so I'm still here. We might as well make the best out of this situation.
Now, Father, let's not be hasty here.
How can they not fight in glorious hand-to-hand, face-to-face combat
he's
with their
mad.
adversaries like all true champions of the battlefield do?
Basically, they just shoot anyone before they can get into range.
I mean,
And
it's a
what's
good
more,
tactic.
They're also all physically weak and pathetic. They seriously make drones do all of the laborious tasks for them and have the technology to make giant robot suits.
Again, that all seems really smart. That seems like the right thing to do.
But they only ever use those suits to carry bigger guns and not to fight in close quarters. Seriously, what is the fucking point in making a giant robot controlled by your own limbs if you're not going to use it to punch the shit out of things?
Oh, this weaknessing like that Lazar's use that for greater things.
In addition, they use other xenos that they enslave to fight in melee battles for them, making them into meat shields and other things to guardsmen.
This revelation fills you with
I mean, putting guardsmen on the front lines as meat shields, that should sound familiar to you guys.
more disgust and spite than a sister of silence being thrown into a pile of feeding tendrils.
That's what I've been trying to say. They cower at rage, hide behind their big boxy mech units, just shooting at the enemy like they're on some kind of firing line. The Tau have no honor, and I have no respect for a race that doesn't even have the fucking decency to fight you in melee combat, which is the most honorable method of combat. How the fuck can they claim to be when they won't even pick up a sharpened piece of fucking metal to shank you with? Like, that's not actually
Back in my day, we just shanked people. Use nowadays, new factions nowadays, they won't even shave ya.
honorable at all. You get what the fuck I'm talking about.
I cannot willingly associate myself with such dishonorable creatures. If they want to join the Imperium of Man, they better bring some fucking chain katanas or something.
My lord, I will personally take my halberd and go on a crusade to the Tyrells myself.
Single-handedly?
And I will shut down the throats of every single one of their pathetic fucking hides, drowning them in their own blood for your glory, my lord.
This is the most emotion we've had from this guy this entire time. He really has a hate boner for them, huh?
Father, are you really sure this reasoning is, sound?
Shut your fucking mouth, you tub of discounted ketchup.
That's 1-to-1 so far. Keep it up.
I learned from the best.
Damn straight.
I'm just gonna go back to my damn room. But what's Imperial Curs in your into the uncovered fucking...
Hey, can I actually tell you a funny story about the tower we're at in?
Oh,
Matt
I do
is
love
tired
some
of all
good
this.
story time.
Not too long ago, the Tau were fighting the Tyranids. They feared this enemy and desperately looked for allies since, as we know, the Tau can't fight their own fucking battles. But then they were contacted by the Dark Eldar that offered them help. Since the Tau were so desperate, they accepted the alliance and both factions fought together side by side against the Tyranids.
I guess the Tyranids really are a problem for everyone.
After that, however, the Dark Eldar leader came to the Tau leader and told them that they wanted a prize for his help, which was 77 Tau from each caste, including 7 Ethereals, as a cultural exchange, as they called it. The Tau, in all their naivety, agreed to send the Tau ambassadors on their way. Later, they fought against the second wave of Tyranids, but this time the Dark Eldar had some special forces with them that they called Grotesques.
I
Which were
see
big,
where this is going,
hulking beasts that moaned in suffering as they fought. Later, when the battle was over, the Tau managed to find out that these Grotesques apparently were the Tau ambassadors from the cultural exchange. The Tau were kind of upset by this, even if they were the ones who...
They were kinda upset at this. Kinda. I mean, personally, I'd be very upset if someone turned my friends into shambling mounds. But that's just me. Maybe I'm
sent their
sensitive.
brethren along with the spiky, super sadistic-looking drug dealers. In response to this, the Tau take the Dark Eldar ships, but as they fired upon them, they realized that the ships weren't actually there anymore. Later, when the Tau forces went back to the planet they were defending in the first place, they discovered that the Dark Eldar had super pillaged the entire planet and left it completely barren. All Tau civilians, buildings, and presumably plants taken to the Dark Eldar realm of Kamarat to become subject to incredibly kinky shit, possibly involving precision knives, drugs, and nail clippers.
You would think that anyone would assume that a cultural exchange with a species that looked like completely cracked up BDSM enthusiasts would be a bad idea. Then again, maybe if they would have had some damn melee weapons with them, that wouldn't have been a fucking problem.
Always makes for an entertaining story, though.
I just remembered something.
Where you left your Ouija board.
Even better, there is one Tau warrior who rejected the oppressive rule of the Ethereals and actually uses his giant robot armor to wield the devastating warp-powered sword.
Oh my god, like a Gundam!
Everything you just said sounded pretty damn worthy of my attention.
Do you mean that, Commander Carfreight, or whatever his name is?
Commander Farsight, yes!
Farsight.
Not only is he known for wrecking
That
a large
rings a
number
bell.
of orcs in close combat, but he formed a breakaway colony from the main Tau region known as the Farsight Enclave. Apparently, he didn't appreciate having his troops lobotomized by the Ethereal, so presumably he decided to go and do his own thing.
Interesting. Tell me more about this Carfreight character. He sounds fun. Perhaps we could make a cheesy animated holovid series about him and his adventures and fill it to the brim with my kind of imperial propaganda. Yes, the begun of a new allegiance
The Emperor's very smart. That would totally work.
plan has only just begun.
I was hoping to change subject matter to something that lessens my own sort of internal headache.
Oh, it's the ones who got away.
So vile and abominable could happen to the most sacred of the world in the galaxy. It's absolutely disgusting. The Ordo Custodum has obviously not done their job very well. And now one more reason for me to have traveled here.
Hey, don't worry, Fyodor. At least we still have each other. And not only that, but a shitload of Inquisitors from across the galaxy as well. But even now, I still don't have those damn sandpaper cigarettes. Seriously,
What do you mean sandpaper cigarettes?
what the f-
We are going to have to do what
Who's
would be
speaking?
considered by the ignorant to be the most
It zoomed in on his feet.
heretical thing anyone has ever done since the horrid days of the Horus Heresy. However, with the God Emperor as my witness, it will instead
I don't think he
be the
is
most
your
pure
witness.
and noble thing
I don't think his
anyone has
portrait
ever done
counts.
for the Imperium.
Now that's the spirit,
I don't think your delusions of the Emperor count, Fyodor.
Fyodor. I mean, look at all the Ordos here. We got
Is
Inquisitors
that
of the Order of
this
Malleus,
song?
Hereticus, and Xenos, and their
It's
Chamber
giant.
Mission, of course. And then we got the Order Aegis, the Ordo Viveris, the Ordo Custodum, as you mentioned, the Ordo Astartes, the Ordo Sanctorum, the Ordo Redactus, the Ordo Necros, the Ordo Scriptorium, the Ordo Militarium, the Ordo Sicarius, the Ordo Vigilis, the Ordo Originatus, the Ordo Astra, the Ordo Thanatos, the Ordo Machinum, the Ordo Sumptorium, the Ordo Thessalatus, the Ordo Scriptus, the Ordo Obscurus, the Ordo Orculus, the Ordo Otis, the Ordo Alphus, the Ordo Ordocarus, and even the Ordo Chronos. Heck, why the hell isn't there an Ordo Sandpaper cigarette? Why? I really need a sandpaper cigarette.
I think he's having withdrawal symptoms from whatever the heck a sandpaper cigarette is.
Orcs, men and women of the Emperor's eternal glory, will charge Eternity Gate and the Imperial Palace to find whoever sent this message. We will save the Imperium from the vile and corrupted who have deeply entrenched themselves in the planet's most holy spaces. Guilt creeps into the most unexpected, which just further shows that there's no such thing as innocence. And we are here to bring them there.
He does like 3 of
Hey,
you,
Fyodor, you
Fyodor.
should just preach them to death.
Be quiet, Dominic.
There's like 3 of you guys. What do you mean we? Headbang with the Emperor. The Tau fans that didn't dislike this video, all 3 of them. Everyone else has reported and blocked.
Gods for your world order. We are the soldiers of the Legion of Light. We are the center to death of the sun.
I think we're gonna skip. No, you know what? Let's watch this short.
I
Why
call
not? It's only
upon
a minute.
sunshine. Hello, 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 hello.
Yes, what? Hello? Yes? What's happening?
I just found out why your hatred for the Tau burns so iridescently.
I thought it was the lack of
What
honor.
is this? Why? Why do you do this to me, Shadow Son? No.
I'm so
Oh my god. Is it a breakup?
sorry, but we can't keep doing this.
But why? I thought you loved me.
I
Oh,
do,
no.
but my forehead is always so sore when I am with you.
No, stop this.
I am too late for the greater good. I have to leave you. I'm sorry. Goodbye.
Aww. Poor thing.
You want to talk about this?
This is not fucking canon!
Talk about it as a psychologist or like... Poor thing. Poor kitten. Okay, this is episode 16, Universal History with Professor Emperor. This is a long one. Full anime episode length. We are the soldiers, the Legion of Light. We are the centers. We are enflamed. We are one. I should learn the lyrics. I look at all his books, nerd.
Interested?
Not really. I'm just making sure you're not trying to invite your army of
What
demonic
is he
tentacle monsters
doing?
over for a party or something.
Can we please have a little bit of trust at this point? I mean, of all the places in this expansive galaxy, this isn't the most comfortable location for me to be in. Besides, I'm not Fulgrim.
So you're telling me that succulent food, a luxurious atmosphere, and an actual bed are less comfortable than the realm that is literally a collective seizure?
If you had more mental capacity than a box of Grox manure, maybe you too would appreciate its own unique majesty.
This assumes that I'm insane enough to want to. Nevertheless, you just being here is a sign of trust in my lord, is it not?
Perhaps. Crazy. Damn skeleton. Why are you still here?
Well, okay, tell me. What are you actually doing? Don't mistake my question for curiosity, I'm mostly just concerned.
Research, observation, experimentation, calming my nerves, listening to the whispers of the warp, passing the time of day, and so on. Albeit it's pretty damn hard to get a good focus in this place, with Father around. Finding any warp traffic to spy on, which isn't tinted gold and full of pent-up frustration, is like trying to remove a demonic incursion from your rectum.
I imagine that'll be difficult.
From my chambers, but I hear it going on from here.
Ow! Ow! Stop
What
that!
is that thing?
Stop dazzling me with your ignorance! Your shiny, half-baked head is burning through my retina like an acid made of stupid...
I'm feeling that
Seriously, though, have you still not got that this heresy expression you speak of is just your Imperium's excuse to put a giant bolt into the head of anyone who goes against you?
I don't think you're allowed to say that out loud. You're supposed to leave the unspoken parts unspoken.
Imperium is like a child in a my dad is better than your dad argument that received the right to kill anyone that attempts to argue back, you witless dildodes.
Well, if you didn't make everything so... I don't know... diabolical, creepy, and straight up evil, maybe you wouldn't be such easy targets for both propaganda and a bulk shell to the forehead. I mean, you're not doing yourselves any favours by wearing the skin of your enemies, for example.
That's
For your
true.
information, I have never worn the skin of my enemies. Do I look like a Necron Flayer to you?
To be fair, the Necrons and your Thousand Sons do have pretty similar motives nowadays.
Yes, we've already sent the cease and desist order. They're just being ferocious plasteel dicks about it.
I guess there are only so many motifs to go around. I'm glad he's having a good time. Is this the first time we've seen the Necrons in this? Like, actually not just being mentioned?
Regardless, you still look like you woke up on the wrong side of the Eye of Terror.
I do see where you're coming from. All the decapitated heads and giant spikes do make it look like we're compensating for one thing or another. Like a lack of decent parents. But to be fair, given your Imperium's alarming
I think decent parents are pretty rare in this world. In 40k, not many good examples of parenthood.
obsession with skulls, I'd say you have some issues of your own. Nevertheless, did you only come here to watch over my shoulder, or did you have some other reason?
Well, I actually wanted to ask you something.
Well, go ahead. Might break the monotony.
I've been wondering. I've served my Emperor for somewhere around 11,000 years or so. I don't really keep track anymore. And even though he's our father, I don't actually know all that much about him besides from what I've seen with my own eyes.
Isn't that enough?
Of course it is. After fighting this side and hearing his dreams for humanity, no sane man could not appreciate his majesty, wisdom, and might.
Indirectly calling me insane now.
Truly, he is
He
the
should be a liar. He's quite good at the liar speech.
one only worthy leader of mankind. But where did he come from?
Where did
Did
he
have
go,
parents?
God
Did he
Nacho?
just, I don't know, crawl out of a gold deposit?
Wait, is the lore of the Emperor not common knowledge, I guess, in 40k? Because we do know.
No, that's a bad thing, of course. I'm sure it was the most glorious deposit in the world.
Oh, hungering for some crisp, luscious knowledge, are we? How fascinating. I thought you companions were especially trained to act as completely uninteresting impersonal automatons.
Well,
Jenny, what is that pillar thing?
truth be told, I think as time has gone by, most of us have either gone a bit into the cuckoo's nest or have managed to retain some, form of rationality. Actually, under one exception, everyone has completely lost their mind.
Hey, kitten! Want to go and take a swim in the Promethean pools with us?
No.
Don't
Be that
swim
way.
in the
As I
jack
was saying,
pools.
I'd still
Don't
follow
do it.
the Emperor right into the Eye of Terror if he commanded it. I live for him, I follow his every word, and I never defy him. And I would happily give my life for him. But, well, there's the thing. I'd happily give my life for him.
Implying that you can actually be happy. Which also implies the fact that you have thoughts and feelings of your own, which subsequently implies you aren't an incredibly stale person whose personal interest can be summed in the words, standing around.
I guess that's part of the reason why I was elected to the position of Captain General.
I mean, look, after the last episode, we can definitely confirm this guy isn't stale. He's had a lot of very strong opinions and feelings where the tower concerned.
After millennia of isolation and your occasional murdering of demons trying to creep in, I'm the one and only companion who's not batshit insane.
And I suppose that's also part of the reason why you're still wearing your armor after all this time.
Yeah! Or, well,
Maybe he's
not
stuck in it.
all this time.
Oh?
I went through a phase. Can't say I'm particularly proud of it. Those loincloths really don't leave much to the imagination, you know. Way they rude. I swear I could taste the floss.
Anyway, as you were asking...
Ah, yes. The subject. Okay, I know he's been around pretty much as long as humanity has, and that he has gracefully guided us through all of that, but... Did he make humanity in his image, or is he simply the guardian of our species? And if he made us, what made him? And if he didn't make us, what made us?
Ah, the oldest...
These are some real existential questions. Okay, let me sit you down and tell you about this little thing called evolution.
question in human history. What are our origins? Sadly, I'm of little help to you in that field. Been too busy comprehending the Materium and superhero comics.
Really? Didn't the Emperor tell you himself? And if he didn't, don't you have some old archaic book about it or something?
Actually, he never told me much about his own past or humanity's origins. Perhaps he didn't want us to know, since he's always been so exasperatingly introvert about things like teaching. That, or it's...
Can you imagine if they had access to things like, I don't know, ChatGPT? That would change a lot. I guess it's heretical though.
because I never really asked. May have been the latter, all things considered. And no, I don't have an old book lying about that specifically tells us where we all came from. Only my
You know
neurotic
so
brother
many exist-
Lorgar would have the talent to write a fictive suicide of that caliber. Besides, even if I had a book like that, all the exciting demon tomes with screaming faces and beware signs lying about would probably just make it look severely unappealing in comparison.
Gah, I suspected as much. And I've looked through all the tomes and slates in the palace's libraries, all the data stored in archives, ancient texts and journals. I've even looked through albums of travel photos for Terra's sake, but I couldn't find anything about the time before the Emperor conquered Terra during the Age of Strife.
Interesting.
If you are that curious, why not just ask
Is that knowledge then actually lost in canon, or is it just not publicly accessible? Even though he's not even just the general public, he's pretty important.
Father himself?
Yeah, I don't know. Multiple reasons. His mind is so splintered that remembering such ancient knowledge might make him fling his skull across the room like a bowling ball. That, and I'm much unsure if he'd actually want to tell me.
Why did this
I mean,
guy
if he never
pop in
told
there
you,
for a
why would he tell
second?
me?
Well, he does seem to like you, despite him being grumpiness incarnate. He relies on you to listen to his boundless complaints and to inform him about, to quote, stupid shit. I'd even say he trusts you. He certainly trusts you more than he trusts me or any of his other sons for that matter. Actually, are you sure you're not his wife or something?
No, of course not, but... Wait,
You know, now when you describe the relationship, they do sound a little bit married.
really? You think so?
Indeed, stepmother.
First of all, quiet you. Second of all, I think you might be right.
I'm really wrong.
So I might just go and ask him then.
You do that.
Actually, don't you want to come too?
Nah, I'm gonna practice for that talent show that I heard is coming up next Thursday. You say they're batshit insane, but your fellow companions do seem to know how to have a good time.
Unless you want soggy hair and stay down for a week, I would highly recommend you drop that.
Why should I? Oh.
Ellipsis.
Maybe this wasn't such a good idea after all.
So let me get this straight. You mean to say that you really have no records of human history before the Age of Strife accessible within the Imperial Palace?
No, not really. Most of it is so heavily censored by the Ecclesiarchy and the Inquisition that more closely resembles a barcode than it does anything else.
So you have no recollection of the tales of the old ones, my own conception, the rebellion of the Men of Iron, or any other tidbits of humanity actually kicking ass?
Right? Humanity was totally kicking ass. Well, they should know that. I wonder what exactly the thinking is, the rationale behind hiding this.
Incredible. I honestly thought I'd hit the greasy fucking bottom of this shithole when you told me of the Inquisition's activities, but I'm just now realizing that I'm only scratching the surface of this rose notion of ineptitude. It's almost as if nobody wants to hear about how our people weren't the be-all and all of civilization in this cesspit of a galaxy.
Yeah, funny that, isn't it?
Right. This is something that I shall now unfuck post-haste. Magnus, fetch some parchment and do what you do best. Take notes.
Do not worry, I always have paper with me.
What a fucking nerd you are. Anyway, I want you to write down everything I am about to tell you, and when I'm done, rewrite the whole damn thing as a grand historical document. Then I want you to start covering it in holy seals and shit, and then throw it into a pile of dirt for a while, so it gets that shitty old paper look. That'll...
Oh, you can do that with tea as well. With tea bags, you can make it look really old. Yeah. But, so I guess today's gonna be this episode's gonna be old lore of, like, pre-Emperor stuff or, like, Age of Strife stuff. Interesting way to do that in this chronological order.
Make stupid people think it's inherently trustworthy. Oh, and shiny britches?
Yes, my lord?
When Magnus finishes his chicken scratchings, I then want you to take this document to the scribes, have it proofed to make sure he doesn't sneak in any mimetic chaos bullshit, then have it mass-produced and distributed all across the galaxy to all people of authority. I don't care if you literally need to ram it down their fucking throats, just make sure they read that shit and understand it. No spam box filter shall stop my glorious wisdom this time.
Yes, my lord.
Now?
Literally having to rewrite down history. That's kinda crazy. That's a little scary. The idea that you could hide so much very basic knowledge about humanity's past from everyone.
Gather around, children, for it is grand story time.
You know?
Cue visuals.
Wow.
In the beginning,
He's so beautiful.
there was nothing. The nothingiest nothing that has ever not existed. The nothing just kinda sat about and unexisted, not bothered by any such thing as existence or reality. There may have been some bits of heat energy floating about, but that shit doesn't count. Eventually, however, this frigid, lonely expanse of plot hole level nothing got sick of being nothing and decided to get a job. So all the energy bits sucked themselves into a ball smaller than the level of progress made since I was put on this over-glorified Porto Potty lighthouse. Then, the energy exploded with the force of something that you'd compare giant fucking explosions to.
Makes sense.
There has never been, and never
Like
will
a
be,
Big
an
Bang.
explosion as big as this one. It was so big that it's literally still happening right now.
Wait, what caused the heat to compress and explode like that?
I don't fucking know.
I didn't realize we were going this far back to the creation of the universe.
Dark matter, plane walkers, precursors, a bunch of geeks with nothing better to do making a badass fictional universe for the purpose of inevitably selling inordinately expensive plastic miniatures? It could have been anything. So after the mega-splosion, atoms started to take form from the massive amounts of energy that floated around, and these atoms started recombining, collapsing, and forming themselves into elements, molecules, and compounds. These substances, unlike energy, had mass and decided to get closer to each other because now this new thing called gravity applied to them because that's just
why are
what
we
fucking
doing the
happens.
creation
Fuck this boring chemical
I guess I don't know about the creation of the universe either.
shit. Let's get to the good stuff.
Yeah, let's get to the
As
good
matter
stuff.
formed into big lumps, these lumps became celestial formations. Stars, planets, nebulas, asteroids, comets. Eventually, due to conservation of energy
I love
and
the
some
little
weird
doodles.
chemical reactions,
They're funny.
life eventually formed on these lumps of space crap. Supposedly, the first life that came about was a race of beings that became known as the Old Ones. The reason for this nickname is that they were the ultimate
Is this what they look like? Is this an accurate depiction of the old ones? I didn't expect them to look like old toads.
rulers of reality and evolution, and they were really fucking old, go figure. These beings are the shitty, neglectful grandparents of all that is life. They evolved so damn hard that they eventually became spiritual entities, discovering the so-called realm of souls. As a side note, as you can see, they looked something like big, fat amphibians before they evolved into beings of pure power. So that's a lot of progress for a bunch of giant hyper-intelligent toadmen.
Are you telling me there's a chance toads are gonna become God?
Come to think of it, that sounds a lot like the administratum.
Incomprehensibly powerful for almost no reason.
Toadman, you rose in a typewriter with a fucking mouth. Anyway, they then decided to create other species for shits and giggles.
So funny.
Some said that they created all life after themselves, but I'm not so sure on that one. Perhaps they helped push the boat out, but they certainly didn't fucking build it.
So these old ones didn't create humanity.
That's what I just said, you hollow-headed ninny. Most life evolved in one way or another, and anyone who doesn't accept that is probably really drunk.
Lorgar's going to have fun with this.
Where is Lorgar in all of
Continuing on.
this?
Next to arrive were a bunch of floozy fucking milksops that you would recognize as the Eldar, due to the fact that, early in their evolution,
I mean, that's a crazy jump from Frogman to Eldar.
they reproduced like space rabbits. They actually ended up becoming the dominant race in the galaxy. The Old Ones were more like spread out singularities of imbalanced min-max hanging around here and there. But neither race really cared for each other, so they coexisted peacefully, one spreading like a pointy-eared plague, while the other pooped out orangutans, more frogmen, and races with unpronounceable names. But then
I wonder
came
what
the
that one was.
Necrontyr.
Wait. That sounds familiar.
Strap yourselves to something, because here comes the most obvious plot twist of the fucking century. The Necrontyr were salty assholes
I love this depiction with their lips. It's quite funny. I still feel bad I forgot the word Necron at the beginning.
because they had evolved on a shitty, radiation-blasted planet. They built underground cities that seriously looked like depressing tombs because their life sucked so much that they would rather wait out their own death than do much else. After years of being subservient to their animosity, like an entire race of entitled middle-aged people, they became envious of both the Old One's incredible powers and the Eldar's massive galaxy-spanning girth. Of course, they were little more than an irritating bunch of self-pitying tearjerkers to such powerful races. Eventually, however, the spite of the Necrontyr became so mighty that they started hating all life in the galaxy, even themselves, and decided to start murdering literally everything. However, they soon realized that manually making sure every single grass straw on a planet was dead was really fucking tedious, so they started snooping around for something to make into a super weapon. That led to them finding a weird bunch of gas orbiting the super radioactive star that had turned their planet into the empire of atomic bombia. They suddenly noticed that the gas was feeding on the very energy of the star. It turned out that the gas was alive, but not in the same sense as other life forms. It had evolved in a whole different way, and was technically even older than the Old Ones. Of course, all it actually did was eat radiation and, be what is basically celestial fart gas. But of course, these assy Necrondards just had to fuck with this peaceful, sun-eating anomaly. They proceeded to collect as many of these weird sentient gas clouds as they could find and forge bodies of living metal for them, because what isn't that the first idea?
Yeah, when he puts it like that, it sounds insane. It made more sense to me before. But why would you do
Yeah, that comes to your mind as well. They used the gas's own radiation-eating abilities to lure the dormant consciousnesses of them into the bodies they had made via the use of a bridge of starlight, or some pretentious shit like that. So after eons of peacefully orbiting stars and eating radiation, these beings, which knew no other need than to drift around and consume, were suddenly given incredibly powerful physical forms and hypercomputerized synthetic brains to give them all the knowledge the Necrotri hearts had collectively acquired. As you can guess, this went swimmingly for everyone involved.
Of
Wait.
course, I'm sure.
I think I can guess who these guys are now.
Congratulations.
These gas entities. They became the Catan, and the Necrons here became the Necrons?
Give this man a PhD, because that's some serious brain power for a giant armored potato chip. But yes,
Biggest brain
these
in the
beings in their
galaxy.
fancy new bodies with their big new brains were named the Catan by the Necrontyr and were worshipped as gods. The Catan weren't nice though. They absorbed all the
Most
living
gods
metal
are-
the Necrontyr had amassed and used it to transform this massive species of psychopaths into a race of living, murderous machines who mindlessly served them. They also ate most of the Necrontyr's souls while they were at it, because they
Oh, that's
were
not very
ungrateful
nice
assholes
of
like
them.
that. That's all.
This is a lot of lore that thankfully I already knew from other videos I watched. But it's interesting seeing his representation because it's obviously kind of humorous.
So when these mounds of fluid dickery discovered that souls were far more appealing than space radiation, I guess souls have more nutrition or something.
Look, if you have the choice between space cancer and tasty souls, I mean, I know what I'd pick personally.
So the Catan started looking back through the extensive memories of the Necrontyr, now renamed Necrons for some reason,
Yeah, that
and
always
saw that the
confused
old
me a
ones
little.
had the biggest, tastiest souls of them all, and decided that it would be a good idea to eat them. When the Catan came gnawing at the old ones' front door, the old ones of course decided to punch the shit out of them with their minds, like all grandparents do. But that's when they noticed that their psychic powers were useless against both them and the Necrons, because they had no souls of their own. This started a massive galaxy-wide massacre of the old
Life hack.
ones that went so far that they nearly became extinct. I guess you could say that the old ones got their life towed away from them. Ha 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 ha.
Seriously,
gosh,
though,
terrible
that's
pun.
awful.
Well, I guess the Necrons here got what they wanted in the end.
Not quite. See, some of the old ones survived, and they decided that the only way to stop this imminent galactic doom is to fuck up in an equally as awful manner as the Necrontyr. Thus, they created a new race, one which could fight the soulless Necrons for them. A race with strange reality-bending powers fueled by crowd mentality instead of souls. A race that knew and desired only war and destruction.
I've
A
got one
race
in
that could
mind.
weaponize anything and was almost impossible to kill. A race that became known then as the Krorks, or as we know them
The
today,
Krorks.
the Orcs, because shortening names is a thing.
What?
Greenskins?
There's a
They were
plot twist you didn't
Wait, sorry, they were called Krorks? Really? I didn't know that.
see coming. The Orcs were actually important all along. So yeah, while the Krorks were fighting the Necrons, the Eldar were shitting their collective frilly panties because they knew that they were next on the menu. So they decided to salvage as much of the old ones' tech as they could and fuse it with their own. Believe it or not, the Webway was actually a creation of the old ones, but the Eldar nicked off with the designs, like the thieving bastards they are. That said, by combining Webway technology and the power of the Realm of Souls, they created a new type of material to combat the living metal of the Necrons called Wraithbone. The Wraith constructs were
Wraithbone is
sent
such
into
a good
battle
name.
alongside the Krorks to fight back the Necrons. Turns out that while the Catan were immune to psychic powers, it seemed as they couldn't handle being Wraithboned.
Oh
From the
my
moment
gosh.
I heard the name come up, I knew you'd say that.
Why aren't you the smartest kid on the fucking block?
Of course I am.
No wonder you were
There's so
bullied by
much
your brothers.
competition.
No, that's just uncalled for.
Anyway, just when things started to go down the drain for the Catan, things got even worse for them, as one particular asshole among them, known as the Deceiver, good friends with the Eldar Laughing God, brought together the most edgy Catan he could possibly find, creatures with names that only the most lonely of people could come up with, such as the Nightbringer, the Void Dragon, and the Outsider. The
That's
Dessa
some
ever
really
then
edgy
said to
names,
his
but they're
fellow
good, I
celestial
think.
gas canisters,
All the other Catan are weak and being killed off. We should eat them before they die so their powers won't be wasted.
Thus, the Catan started infighting, and began to eat each other, while also
That's
being
pretty
destroyed by the
reasonable,
Krorks
actually.
and the Eldar, because that is clearly what an intelligent life form would do.
This makes perfect sense. You just gotta sometimes mention your friends for power. As a little pick-me-up, little treat.
So much destruction was caused in this, the First Great War, that the Catan suddenly realized they were expending more energy than they were absorbing, and would run out of power if they kept this up. All according to plan, Shago Rat said as he laughed away the night with the death lever.
Killing all of your allies in the middle of a giant war was apparently a bad idea. Who would have fucking thought?
Plus, they simply decided to retreat back to the Tomb Worlds with their Necron armies to wait for the universe to become plump, juicy, and unprepared again.
It would seem that at some point during that time, the Necrons must have regained some consciousness and taken revenge against the Catan for screwing them over.
So I have been led to believe.
Although to be honest, it kind of
So he doesn't really know for sure.
sounds like they deserved what happened to them. That's what you get for being a filthy Xeno, after all.
So with that giant clusterfuck out of the way, you'd think things would get better. But nope. This giant war had left the universe a complete fucking mess. The old ones were near extinct. The Eldar were still scared shitless, and worst of all, the Crow
Bad news. The universe is still a huge mess.
orcs, with no Necrons left to fight, turned on their creators since the old ones had forgotten to install a fucking off switch. Fortunately, they could be held at bay due to having no technology of their own. That said, something worse than Necrons was on the horizon.
Tyranids.
You see, all the souls who were eaten, and all those
no, Slanesh. I'm jumping ahead, but the Tyranids are us out there.
who died in the battles created a major imbalance in the realm of souls. This imbalance
like a
within the
disco.
outer realm corrupted and twisted it with all the ill will, fears, and general lack of common fucking decency that life now collectively experienced. Nightmarish spiritual entities started to emerge from the darkness of the realm like a giant galactic panic attack. It was at this point that the first demons emerged and the realm of souls was given a new name.
The warp! That all makes sense.
That was what I was gonna say, Magus. You stole my answer.
Yup. Not only did that war fuck up the universe, but it fucked up the outer realms of the universe too. Compared to that war, this 10,000-year-old conflict that started when fucking Horus decided to be a bad boy is barely a blip on the radar. Puts things into context, doesn't it?
I suddenly feel small, and I don't know how to feel about that.
You'll get used to it.
Yes, in the grand scheme of the universe, you're very small and unimportant. We all are. It's
Besides,
okay.
you're shorter than most of your brothers anyhow.
How?
That's
He's
entirely
huge.
my choice, and you know it.
But where were we, humanity, during all of this?
We were all busy evolving from primates into tribal cavemen, picking our noses, and fornicating in the ways that primitive beings do.
Wow,
But
they
not
were
for
really far
long.
behind.
You see, warp storms caused by this huge war fucked the galaxy over. And additionally, demonic predators of the warp finished off most, if not all, of the remaining old ones. It's like some complete-ass wipe suddenly invaded an old folks' home, demolished all their belongings, and subjected all old people to summary executions. And then another completely unrelated group came along and did the exact same thing all over again.
That would
The
mess you
Eldar,
up.
realizing their own incredible fragility, decided fuck it. Literally. And so they did. Constantly. So much so that they repopulated the galaxy again, became
I
the
mean, this is an easy solution, right? You're running out of people, just make more.
dominant species once more, and ruined their own reproductive cycle to the point of near non-functionality. I mean, I know you'll lose it if you don't use it, but if you use it fucking constantly, it's gonna get worn out and shrivel up. It's at this point that the idiot says what species emerged.
The what?
I am absolutely hilarious, even after all these millennia.
Oh,
That's why everyone's laughing at your jokes, Emperor. Good job.
I still don't get it.
So, actual humans finally started coming forth out of the evolutionary fuckfest at this point, and a handful of them gained psychic powers similar to that of other species carrying souls around. These early day psychers called themselves shamans, and they were totally super badass, guiding humanity by learning about the ways of nature and the universe's history, through the power of the realm of souls and probably some shrooms. However, when the doddering demon douches accompanied with an entire gang of horribly unnecessary creatures like enslavers and psychnoia started to show up,
That was Pokemon noises.
the shamans started to be horribly killed off in spasmtastic manners. So of course, the shamans decided they needed to put their heads together to solve the problem. So they did. Again, literally. By combining their very souls, psychic powers, knowledge, and strength through ritualistic mastery of time, they achieved in the blink of an eye something that had taken the old ones an entire species worth of evolution to do. They all became a single living being of spiritual energy and power. In short, they created me.
Yeah!
Sorry, the big Gatsby's so good. He's distorting. That was a good lore episode. A lot of stuff I already knew. So I feel like I didn't have a whole lot to add or questions to ask. But it was a good rendition. It was interesting. I think the most interesting to me in this one is that apparently so much of this knowledge has been buried and censored by the Inquisition.
The Legion of Light. We are the center to death of the sun. Fire and flame.
Huh? Oh yeah, I've heard about this.
Mankind cannot.
I'll check this out another time.
On this day, we shall know our enemy by the name that I shall give them. We shall know them as the Space Bags of Death!
You'll get off my powerful powers before you make anything dirty! Thanks for the warning.
Outrageous!
Yeah, you guys told me about this. Okay, I think that's everything for today. This was really Sorry, we started with the big gasp. I think that was really interesting, a good lore episode. I look forward to watching 17 and probably 18 next time. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. And if you did, write 1-1 in the comments. 1-1!